this is Tanya with Riley & Company. Thank you for joining our Make and Take today. We are going to be making this easel slimline card that has 4 of your Riley friends playing around. Isn't that adorable? And it's really, really super easy. If you got the kit for the Make and Take event, ours will look like this. Inside, you will find all of the card pieces. These are your front and your back, and we will assemble them in a second. All of your decorator pieces and a whole bunch, I forget how many, of the stamped, pre-cut, pre-stamped coloring pieces that we're going to do in a little while. So what we're going to do and I forgot the best part. And in your kit, you get a full-size dress-up Riley sets. We normally sell these for $15.99, so it is a great deal. It is our dress-up Riley Valentine's St. Patrick's set, and I believe the numbers are 𝐂𝐭𝐡. And it does have matching dies to go with it, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to set this aside for a second, and we are going to start on our base. Now, you have 2 base pieces, and one is 1/4 inch longer than the other. So we're going to start with the longest piece, and you are going to score it. This is the only thing that hasn't been done for you. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch here, okay? And then you're going to turn it over, and you're going to score it at 4.5 inches, okay? So this is 9 inches, this is 9.5. We're just going to score this piece at 1/2 inch so we can fold it over, and this is going to be the piece that attaches to the back of our card. This piece is going to be the pop-up piece. And so we're going to fold this back and forth a couple times to get it nice and worked in there. And the same with our front piece. Just going to kind of work it out a little bit. Now you're just going to grab your adhesive. I'm using Zip Dry. For those of you that have ever seen me before, I love my Zip Dry because it's like rubber cement, and it lets you move your piece around before it locks it down, which is really awesome in some cases. So I'm going to square this up, and then I'm going to fold this flap over, and that's what it looks like on the back. Just going to attach it on the back, okay? If there's a little bit that's too long on this side, because of where you scored it, it's okay. It doesn't matter. We'll fix it later. So that is what you should have right now. We're going to take this piece and we're going to set it aside a second. And I want you to grab the biggest decorator pieces, your green, your yellow, and your blue. Okay, and we are just going to glue these on top of each other. The yellow on top of the green. And I will show you what I mean by Zip Dry. I actually had to restart this video because my darling dog Tucker, who the stamp was actually made after, started barking. And I didn't think y'all would want to listen to him try to talk to the animals outside that he thinks he sees. So we have that piece on there like that. And what I mean by Zip Dry lets you move it around. For example, when I had to restart, I didn't want to recut these pieces, so I just took it off. Okay, and this just rubs right off if you use the wrong piece and you want to change it out. Now, after about 5 minutes, there's no way you're going to be able to do that. So that is what I like about it. It gives you mobility, but on the second hand, it gives you a really solid card once it sets up. So we're just going to do this on our blue piece as well. We're going to center that right like that. And I was a little too far to the right, and it just lets me scoot it over until it dries. And then it won't let you after it dries. So now we have this piece. We're going to attach that to our front card. Now, we're not going to attach it like you normally would to the whole base. We're only going to attach it to the bottom half that folds, okay? So you're simply going to just put your glue on this piece All right, lay it flat. All right, and you're just going to arrange this so that it is nice and square. And then we're going to seal it down. Okay, so that way, the only piece that it's glued to is just the bottom piece. Can everybody see that? Hope so. All right, so for the inside, all you need to do to figure out where you want your inside pieces is to let it stand up. So if you like where it's standing, some of you may like it better down here, some of you may like it better up here. That is where we are going to put our first piece, because that is going to be the stop for it. All right, so see, if I take it down, it's going to slide down. So I'm just going to unfold it, and you can use either side, your plaids or your stripes. We're just going to glue that down. We're going to finish by taking our decorator pieces. You can use the fish side if you want. Doesn't really make sense with all the St. Patrick stuff, but hey, you can use it if you want, right? And that's going to go down. And then finally, we have a pre-stamped sentiment for you. And I love this for easel cards. This is a stamp that I created specifically for easel cards, so I could stack up all of Riley's friends. Hiya, what's up? I'm going to put that in the center. Okay. Now, the last piece that you have is just this bottom piece. And I just put it down here just as a decoration piece. Kind of gives you a little place to write, and it looks like it's intentional, so that's why we put that decorator piece on there. And when this is on, we are finished with our card base. Okay, so now our easel card will stop where it's supposed to. All right. We will set this aside, and now we are going to have some fun coloring. So I've got all my little pieces here, and I'm going to separate them out into what we need to color where. So the shirt is going to be green, and if you're wondering, you know, what colors to do, just refer back to your cover sheets of your kit. And the hats. And the skirt is green, and the beer is green, and the kiss me, the little shamrock's green. Oh, and the heart balloon is green. So the only thing that isn't are the animals and the beer on top and the little cow's eyes. You guys wonder what these are? They're little cow's eyes. They go on top of the cow. All right, so I love my Copics. We're going to use Copics for this. And the two colors I chose were G14 and G07. Sorry, I needed some coffee. All right, so let's start with G14. And we are just going to draw in, color in the little hearts. And I like to go over the edges so it makes the white disappear. Okay, so like with the shamrock, he's got a little edge of white there. He's not going to for long. Okay, we're just going to give everything a nice first layer of green. If you have a bigger section with Copics, do circles, fill it in while moving your marker in circles. It helps it blend a little better. And do the whole thing except the shamrock in the middle. Okay, then I'm going to come to, let's do these. These are so much fun. We're going to make them plaid. So all we're going to do is just run different stripes of green across on this one. No particular pattern. I'm just coloring one of the lines in. Okay, and then I'll go across in a couple spots. Then we have our green beer, and I'm just going to color that whole thing in. See, this doesn't take very long at all. And for the shirts, I'm going to leave the outside edges white. So I'm going to be using a circular motion. My marker's wanting to get dry on me. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over it a second time, but not everywhere, because you can use color, the same color on top of a color to create shadows. So with a circular motion, I'm just going to come along. This is telling me that the light is shining from that edge. So I'm going to bring my marker back around and give it a little bit more of the same color on that side. Okay, same with the shamrock. Not all of it, because I want to see the white parts. I mean, I want a lighter part up here in the left top. So I'm going to bring this in, and hopefully my marker is going to hang out for me. Okay, and I hope you guys can see that there's actually shadows going on there. Now this little guy is all the way on the bottom, so we are going to put his shadows on the bottom of his shirt, and definitely on his shoulders. Okay, so we are finished with that. Now I'm going to take my G7. Okay, then I'm going to come back in. Let's start with the balloon again. And I'm just going to come around the outside edge, but not as far up as my G14 was. It can blend in on its own, but each time I'm going to take my original marker, my G14, and I'm going to help shade it along by just doing little circles. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the shamrock. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the hats, except don't color the brim of it. We want the brim to stay light. All right, and then the same with the shirt. We're going to bring it along the side and just the edges. You guys will notice that I don't fussy color a lot. I just kind of go for it. Okay, we're going to come back with the shamrock in our original color and shade it. Same with the hat, just along the lines and back out just a little bit. And if you don't have the two colors of green, that's okay. You can still shade it with just your G14 and 2 layers. All right, so there is our shading and it's all done. Okay, I'm going to come back with the darker green and we're going to work on the little plaid, and I'm just going to run a few more lines with my darker green. Okay, and darker green. And I think we're going to throw a little darker green on the cup. All right. Then the color that we're going to use now to finish off the plaid is yellow. The color for this is 𝐲𝐢8, and all I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm just going to fill in where there's whites. And it's going to give us a nice English plaid look. And we're done. Now for the tops of these, the puff doesn't really matter because as you see, whoops, I picked it up. Tucker standing on it. All right, but the bottom does matter, and I just pulled in a general brown color. These are sticking to my hands. I'm using E35. You can use E33, just a brown. And I'm going to make it a little leather pouch. Okay. And now let's move on while we've got our yellow out. Let's move on to our beer mug. This is so simple. And this is also super easy to do. Sorry, can't color and talk at the same time. Okay. Very, very easy to do. That's also included in your stamp sets. Now, we've got the basics done for the clothes. Now all we need to do is start on the animals, and they look like a lot of work, but they're really, really not. So let's start with the bottom, and we'll do the cow. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab that E35 marker. Now keep in mind that a lot of his spots in here you aren't going to see. So we're just going to give him this ear because we're going to see that. And let's see, we're going to see this here. And maybe this spots and his tail. All right, we're definitely going to see his hooves. So they're going to be dark brown. And I really have no idea what color cows are supposed to be. So I'm just winging it. And if you don't want this color of cow, feel free. If you want a pink cow, go for it. You get strawberry milk from a pink cow. That's what I was always told. And chocolate milk from a brown cow. Now, I have the B00, and if you want, you can definitely use the eyes that are included. These eyes were meant to pop up to give it a 3D look. So we are just going to take those, if I can hang on to it, and just put a little blue in the edges of both. Just gives a little something. And we are going to use an RV10 for the inside of his mouth. You could do just a little bit on his snout too if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You don't have to. Maybe some inside his ears. And now I'm going to use it a second time and make his tongue just a tiny bit darker than before. So now we are ready to put the clothes on the cow. So let's grab our shirts and let's always dry fit it. And it looks great. But let me tell you what I do. I take a pair of scissors and right with the cows, right where that comes together, I just cut it up just a tiny bit so I can tuck the shirt in underneath it and his snout's on top instead of covering his snout with the shirt. So let's attach that to his body. And then the only thing that we have left to do is put a beer in his hand, which sounds like a fabulous thing to do. Put a little bit of glue on there. And I'm going to sit him aside to dry. If you want, you can also put a little cut in his hoof and slide it in that way as well. All right, moving along, let's do Bert next. Bert the Cat, Smiling Bert. Bert is going to be gray. So I usually use C3, C5, something like that on Bert. Now you can color your cat whichever color you choose. And to do that, all I do is hang on to the pieces literally, and I cover all the edges. And up his neck. Be a little gentle here with him. Alrighty. All right, that is super simple. You can also use your marker again and come along the outside edge and give it a little undershadow there, if you can see that, and maybe a little along his mouth line, and maybe some on his neck, and definitely some on his little feet. Now grab your black marker, and you can leave his eyes like this if you choose, okay? Or we're gonna make him really super cool because he's out having cocktails with his bros, and we're gonna give him sunglasses. We're just gonna give him some black shades by coloring that in black. Okay, now grab your RV10 again. We're gonna color in his nose. And we are going to color in just a little part of his ear. Now here is the fun stuff. This is going on Bert. Our little skirt is going to go on Bert the cat, okay? It is too big for Bert, all right? It fits Riley and it fits the cows, okay? And it also fits our newest little raccoon, but it's not going to fit Bert. So we're just going to trim it up just like you would with a sewing machine, only we have a pair of scissors. Now it's going to fit Bert's, okay? So we're just going to put a little bit of glue here. Sit that on just so you can see his feet. Kind of position it where you want it. Now, how we're going to get it to fit is turn it over. All right, we are just going to start at his waist and trim it down to his feet, and start at his tail and trim it over. And when you do that, look at that perfect fit for a cat. All right, let's put his hat on. Now I want it to come down over his eyes because Tucker's going to be standing on it. Okay, so it's going to look like it's squishing down on his head. Okay, so there we have Smiling Bert. Now the balloon also goes with him, and this reminds me while we're doing it one at a time that I'm going to put a little dot of glue right here. And I'm going to attach the string to this, and we're going to set it aside so it can dry. Now we're going to move on to Tucker. And Tucker is a little brown pup. So I'm going to pull out my E33, and we're just going to color all of Tucker in except for his eyeballs and his nose. And then we'll come back in and I'll show you how to shade him with just this one marker. This Tucker dog, for those of you that don't know, is actually a real dog. I have a little Dachshund Terrier mix, and he was designed after Tucker. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a little shade underneath his mouth. Okay, over here, definitely on his inside legs and his little tail, and back in this little corner. If you would like more shading than that, that's fine also. We can put a little under his eyes too. All right, you can also bring out your E35. That will help you shade a little bit more if you want it. just along the edge a little bit. And back in here. All right, normally you would shade this as well, but you're not going to be able to see it, but I'll show you what you would normally do. Okay, so he is holding the shamrock in his mouth. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a pen, any pen that you have, any black pen that you have is fine. I'm just using a Paper Mate. Okay, and I'm just going to write across here, "Kiss Me." In the set that you get with your little kit, you have a "Kiss Me" stamp, you also have a "Love You" stamp, and you also have a little "Be Mine." So you can stamp that on there if you want. I'm just going to write "Kiss Me." Because Tucker's a loving kind of little guy. Now, here's how we get this in his mouth. You're going to very carefully cut along the line of his mouth. All right. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on the top right leaf. And then we're going to just move it around until you find a spot that you like. And that just looks adorable, doesn't it? He's so cute. He's this cute in person too, really. He's just a sweet little thing. Now, I'm going to color his nose black. And I'm going to add a little bit of blue to his eyes like I did the cow, whose name is Benny, by the way. Okay. And there's that. Now, finally, we have Felix the Cats. And I decided for this one, we want Felix to be an orange cat, primarily because we just got a little cat, a little kitten, and she's kind of a little cream puff color. So I'm going to do this with Y17 and Y38. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to color in all of little Felix, except his nose and his eyeballs. Okay. Whoops, and we're going to get this arm. I'm so methodical, can you tell? And I really color like this all the time. I really do. I've found that coloring is actually very relaxing. So now I'm going to add some shade, some shadows. Okay, so if I think about where the shadows would be, it would be definitely down here on his feet, definitely around his belly on the outside, because he is a chunky little thing. On this foot, for sure, definitely on his tail and on his hands. Okay, maybe a little under his whiskers. All right, so we are going to grab our RV10 again. This is the color I'm going to put on his nose, a little in his ears. And we are going to grab our B00 and we're going to come back in and do his eyes. Now, if you don't have these Copic colors, I know I've been rattling them off, but those are for the people that do have Copics. If you don't, anything will work. Grab something similar, sketch it out a little bit, see if you like the color, you're good to go. Now, we are going to assemble this. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut out the little hole in your beer mug. Now, this will not hurt him a bit, okay? I'm going to cut his paw off. Just the two little nibby parts of his paw, okay? And don't lose them. I'm telling you this from experience. Do not lose them. So we're going to come back and put a little bit of glue on what's left of his hands. Sometimes the nature of zip dry, because it's like rubber cement, it gets a little clogged up, and that's okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to glue that right on the edge of that beer mug. handle, and then we're going to add a little more glue, pick these little guys up, and put them right back on top. And I really do giggle every time because I just think it's hilarious that it turns out like that. So now it really does look like he's holding the beer mug. Can everyone see that? I hope you can. Okay, now let's start assembling. And I know everybody's going to say, but wait, we have a hat left. We are going to put the hat on last, after we get the card assembled, because we cannot have it go taller than our card. So that's going to determine how we stack these, okay? So let's start stacking. Actually, let's put the eyeballs on our cow, if you haven't done so already. And all that requires is a little piece of foam tape, and I thought I had them out, but I guess I don't. Here is my little foam tape. And you're just going to cut a little piece. And put them on the back of the eyeballs. Okay. And there you go. And now our cow has 3D looking little eyes. We are going to assemble this with him first. I'm gonna move everything out of the way. All right, he is going to go on the very bottom, and he's going to go below the blue. All right, so when he stands, and the reason we're doing that is so that when your recipient opens the card, it's like he's standing on the ground. That's why we're doing this. So all I do is just cut some foam tape. All right, I want a little bit on that beer mug as well, just to give it some supports. And we are going to put him on first. All right. Next up, we are going to put Tucker on top of Benny's head. Okay. Now you can tuck him back in underneath, however you choose. So with thinking that, you already know that this is popped up and we don't need any foam here. So all we're going to do is put a little foam on his head and a little piece on his tail to stabilize that, because we're going to tie string to it later. And it just gets more fun. The more you go, the more you giggle. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on Benny the cow's head. If you have zip dry and it acts up like that, all you do is just pull the piece out and it just comes right up in your hands. That's why you always see me swiping at my workspace. Okay. Sit him on there. Get him centered in. And there we have it. Yay! A cat on a cow. But that's okay. Now we're going to put a dog on a cat on a cow. So we have our darling Tucker. All right, he's going to be standing on his head as well. So we're not going to put any tape here. We're just going to put it on his body and on his head. Just about his neck and his head. So we have a piece that's going to go across there. And I want a little piece on that shamrock, I think, just to make it nice and sturdy. When I make cards, I really do just throw stuff like this. Does anybody else do that? I make a disaster area. You can ask Dolores and Karina. They were forever picking up after me at the store because I just literally make a disaster when I create. All right, so I'm going to center him right on there, and I'll hold him down. And there you go. All right. Finally, we have our darling little Felix. Now, if you notice, on your card sample, he's not sitting straight across on his head because that doesn't look quite right, does it? Unless maybe he's fallen over a little bit. I don't know. So what I'm going to do, this poor little guy gets all cut up, doesn't he? Is I am just going to cut this little leg off. And it really didn't hurt. I promise it didn't hurt. Okay. Then we are going to put some foam tape on the back of him. And on our beer mug. And just a tiny bit down his body, okay? I think I might have to move this because I laid it down over the edge. All right, I'm gonna peel these off and hey, just toss them. Problem is here I have to clean up after myself. Yes. And if Dolores is watching this, she's going, uh-huh. Yep. All right, so we're gonna sit him kind of on his head. We're gonna put little dots right on Tuck's forehead. Alrighty, and set him down. Now, what are we gonna do with the other foot? No problem, you ask. No problem. We are just gonna take it, put a little bit of glue, and you may need a pair of tweezers for this. I do, I have little fat fingers, but what we're gonna do is we are just gonna tuck it right back up on Tucker's head. You can also do that by laying it down and just pushing Tucker's head down till it picks it up. That looks so much better, doesn't it? And finally, now we can put the hat on. No problem. We can put it right on top. We can have it going over to the side. I think in mine this time, I'll have it just go to the side. That's kind of cute. And it will be popped up with foam tape as well. Toss. All right, so I'm just gonna sit it over his ear. All right, there we go. We have it. And finally, I was wrong. We have one more thing to put on. We have this balloon. Now I can put the balloon wherever I want it, depending on how long your string is, of course. So I think I'm just going to tuck it right here. All right. So grab your foam tape for the last time. Put a little piece on the back. Throw the paper anywhere. It would be kind of cute. I cut an extra long piece. So if you have any string and the piece that you like isn't long enough for what you want, just cut another piece of string. And this time it could go all the way up here. Ha! That's kind of cute. I think we'll stick him here. And we are just going to take this and lift his tail up. And we are literally just going to tie this on his tail. And clip it up. And there you have it. There's your card. Now, there's optional steps that you can take. I'll throw those in real quick. I love my glossy accents. I use them on almost every card I make because it just adds so much more for such a little bit of work. So everything that's glossy on here, the beer mug, hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, I'm going to see if I have a pen laying around. Didn't plan for that. We'll see if we can't get it to work. But I add glossy accents and stickles to almost every single card. So in this case, I am just going to add some glossy accents to the beer mug. And the handle, of course, right? To the eyeballs, I always put glossy accents on their eyes. Just gives their eyes a little 3D look. This balloon, we're going to put some on it. Bert's sunglasses for sure. Cow's eyes. And heck yes, our green beer. All right, everybody always asks me, all the time, always asks me, how long does it take for Glossy Accents or Stickles to dry? It completely depends on how much you use. All right, it dries fairly quickly. I'll come back to this in an hour and it'll be dry. All right, unless you use tons, and that's okay too. So with Stickles, I always use Stardust. Stardust is very well known for matching whatever color you have around it. I love Stickles Stardust. I have a gabillion bottles of it. To use it, just shake it like a thermometer. Okay, shakes all the Stickles to the edge. I'm going to put some on his little shamrock on his hat. I'm going to put some on the foam on the beer. Okay, I'm definitely going to put some on the shamrock that he's holding. And I think we're going to put some on his little kilt and his hat. And now, folks, we are finished. And we have our card. Keep it flat. If you used Glossy Accents or Stickles, keep it flat until it dries, of course. But after that, you can set it up and enjoy it. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned. We've got some great specials for you. Hi everyone, this is Tanya. Normally you would see my face, but this time I have so much to tell you and so much fun stuff to show you that I didn't want to take time switching the camera around, and I haven't figured out how to do it yet. So we're going to start here. If you were with us in the last segment, you know that this was the adorable Slimline card that we made with Benny and Bert and Tucker and Felix. And with that kit, you got a stamp set from our dress up line. So I decided this time that I was going to introduce you a little bit further to Dress Up Riley, which is all of the clothing on here, and it fits our other animals. You can use them interchangeably. So it also has the theme of one of my very favorite holidays of the whole entire year, and it's not Halloween, so it has to be St. Patrick's Day. I love St. Patrick's Day, and Riley and Company loves St. Patrick's Day. So I wanted to show you some stuff that you can use for St. Patrick's cards. I wanted to tell you a little bit more about Dress Up Riley, and we have got a really great special for you, which is 20% off all of the Dress Up Riley on our website. So if you got the stamp set that is the Valentine St. Patrick's Day stamp set and you want the matching dies, 20% off. And that's only going to go on for a week, so make sure you get them in your cart, okay? Moving along, just to show you what we have in our line that you can make St. Patrick's Day cards with, besides the Dress Up series, we have a little Riley with St. Patty's Day beer. Here is an amazing little Irish saying in our Funny Bones line. Cheers! Which could be used for more than just St. Patrick's Day, right? Here's his little Lucky Clover and his pot of gold. Here he is in a kilt with his hats. For all of you beer lovers out here, we have, whoops, I don't have both of them. We have a large beer mug and a small beer mug, and we also have dies that fit the small beer mug. So they're part of our Cling series. Now, once you get into the beer, what great cards you can make with beer themes, right? And you know we have the sayings, plural. National Beer Day, January 1st to December 31st. Yep. If you take the word milk and change only 4 letters, you get beer. Word of the day, shenanigator, a person who instigates shenanigans. This we are going to use later in our demo. We're going to make a little card with this in just a few minutes. I put some Baileys in my coffee because, well, you know, hey, it's Ireland somewhere. And of course, some people outgrow childish shenanigans. Some of us master them. So we have a nice arrangement of stamps that you can make all kinds of St. Patrick's Day cards with. Let's see, what should I go to next? Let's go to our Dress Up Riley. We just had a release a couple weeks ago and added some things to our Dress Up line. Now, for those of you that don't know, Dress Up Riley, okay, is 2 Riley images, 2 cow images, or our latest is 2 little raccoon images. Okay, so they come like this, or they used to. The Riley images, there's a die set and 2 red rubber stamps. The cows, Benny and Bessie, there's 2 stamps in the set, and then there's also a die set that matches them. And with our Raccoon Fox series, we have decided to start making all of the basic Dress Up Riley in clear sets. Okay, so with this, some of you may have the red rubber, but going forward from our last release, you will get them in clear. Okay, and of course, he has his dies to go along with him. Now, the great thing about this set, if I can find it, which I probably won't, but I will later. I have a mess here. All right, I can't see it. I can't find it now, but I'll find it in a little while. He starts off as a fox, right? You can make him a red fox. You can make him a gray fox. However, if you stamp, and I don't have a card either. Oh, yes, I do. If you stamp these little guys and cut them out with your dies or your scissors and attach them, he becomes a raccoon. So there you go. You can have a red fox, you can have a gray fox, or you can have a raccoon as well, just by using these 2 little stripes. You call them whiskers? Nope, they'd be stripes. Yep, stripes. So this is our newest little guy. Our little fox raccoon set. So that is your basic Dress Up Riley sets, okay? This is just your base. So think paper dolls. That's where we're at. Just think paper dolls. Now you have clothes that go on paper dolls, correct? And we have, I think we're going on 28 sets now. This is a Halloween set that we have. We have a couple winter sets that you have clothes that can go on them. This is what you can do, along with this little card we made with the St. Patrick's Day sets. We have summer sports sets. We have barbecue and summer fun sets. Of course, there's Christmas sets and a fall set. Here's another winter set we have. I love this set. It's a birthday accessory set. We have a little Sophie's accessory set. This is also one of my favorites. It's our camping series. You get a camper with it. We have a professional set that has a fireman, a policeman, a construction worker, and there's a couple others on there. Here is the motorcycle. He has his own Harley, of course. Here's a farmer set. He has his own tractor. And here is Welcome Spring. And that is the stamp set that we used on this guy, the little raccoon. We have Santa's workshop, and he has his own boat and a little love bug bus. This is also one of my favorites, the Gingerbread House. You can do so much with it. There's a dress up under the sea set, a dress up beach set, of course a party set, which includes a lampshade, and a second Halloween set. Now in our last release, we came out with yet another dress up set, and it is his own Jeep. Isn't that fabulous? And the die actually cuts out the window of the Jeep. Comes with a little snake and a little meerkat and a little monkey that you can hang from things. That's his little safari set. And this is a card that we did with him. Absolutely love this little safari set. So, okay, I think, oh, one thing I wanted to mention, while we were making the cards, I talked a lot about zip dry. I love my zip dry. Everybody knows I love my zip dry. We have it in stock. Okay, keep in mind that you only use this around the edges. All right, and it's really fantastic. It does not wrinkle your paper. You only put it around the edges. You can lift and put it back on if you make a mistake. Okay, so we have that. I wanted to let everybody know that. And finally, we have added a bunch of new sets to our website. We are going to make this card today. I put some Baileys in my coffee. I told you we were going to use that. So we offered this a while back, like almost a year ago, and we sold out of them. But we found more papers, so we decided to put this together, and this set is on our website, in addition to a bunch of other sets, and we also have individuals of these cards available on our website as well. So now, if I can find my mess, let's make a card real quick. What do you say? So we're going to use Little Tucker here, and we are going to make this card. Okay? And it's so easy. It's so easy to do. And if you have the set from the Make and Take today, this is just another little card you can make with that Valentine's St. Patrick's set. So of course we're just going to take a regular card base, an A2 size card base, and we're going to fold it in half. Okay, sometimes when I do my cards, I like to ink the edges up to give it a little bit of something. And that's what I'm going to do with this card. I use vintage photo almost every time unless I need a color. Okay, and just gently take a sponge. Okay. A lot of people have asked me what this sponge is, and it is an applicator tool, I believe is what Tim calls it. It's a Tim Holtz applicator tool. Now with the zip dry that I mentioned before, I said that we only need to go along the edges. Zip dry is like rubber cement in a bottle. Okay, takes a very little amount. All right, and it will let you move it around if you make a mistake. So, if you happen to lay your paper down like this, if you used like a tape runner or something like that, or a lot of other wet glues, you would have to ruin one of the papers to get this off. With zip dry, you just peel it up, okay, and you can set it. But what if I really wanted to use the other side of the paper instead? Once I have it down, I can lift it up, I can just rub this off, I can re-ink the edges and glue around this side as well. Because it's rubber cement, it just comes right off. That's probably one of the features that I like the best about this glue, because I make a lot of mistakes. So, but I am going to use this side of it after all, and I am just going to put some around this edge. We are going to put it back on the card, move it around until I get it where I like it, which is my second favorite feature, because I figure if you go to all that work to cut out all this stuff for a card, you definitely want it to be nice and straight. And I got a whole bunch of ick right here. Just gonna brush it off on my lap. Now I'm just gonna take 2 strips of matching paper. It's two kinds of green and a pair of scissors, and I am just gonna cut a little V into it. All right, a V into that and a V into this. And I'm going to do the same with this other one. It's the same shade, just a different type of paper. I make these into little ribbon-like things. All right, and I'm going to sit those down. And move them around just a little bit. Oh, I forgot to ink those, but that's okay. We can ink this one. Oh, it's zip dry. Guess what? Remember I told you I make a lot of mistakes. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this so if I can pull it right off and put it right back down in its spot. I know I just heard everybody in the cyber audience gasp. When you can do that, yes. I used to own a retail store and I sold these by the gallons, one bottle at a time. I'm telling you, it was the best glue on the planet. So now I have a yellow circle and I'm going to lay on top of that. And again, we have these in the Funny Bone kits on our website. And everything is pre-cut and pre-stamped for you and pre-packaged for you with a photograph of the card itself. So they're super easy to put together. Okay, just gonna put that down on there. And then I have another green circle. Put that down. And I'm just gonna kind of off center it just a little bit, okay? All right, then we have the saying. This is one of my favorite Funny Bones things. A, because it deals with Ireland, and B, because I drink a ton of coffee, and C, well, because I like Bailey's in my coffee, so, and it's funny. So I'm just gonna edge this. And when you edge, take it kind of easy. You don't want it to look brown. You just want it to have a little bit of a halo effect. And I'm gonna put it around the edges. I'm gonna move it around till it's perfect. Okay, and if I could find, I seem to have like a very chaotic mess on my desk. I found some. I'm going to use some foam tape and put on the back of it. And I'm going to pop this saying up. And I'm just going to do a little cockeye. There we go. And now it comes to my darling little Tucker, and we are going to put him in a kilt and a hat. And it's very easy to do. Again, if you have the set from the Make and Take previous to this, you have these. We've already used them and dressed up a cat with them. But this time we're going to dress up a dog with them. Okay, so we're just going to take a green. I'm going to use G14 if you're using Copics. Okay, and we're just going to throw some stripes on this and some stripes on that. And I'm going to take a little darker green. I'm going to throw some more stripes. Okay. Now the trick, go this way a couple times, horizontal as well. And then we're going to take a yellow to match our card, right? And we're just going to fill in the whole entire thing, get rid of the white. And the same with the hats. I'm going to put a little yellow puff on his hats. That's going to be yellow. Okay? And I'm going to take a brown. I'm going to take my E33 and I'm just going to make this a little leather pouch. That's all there is to that. Now for Tucker, we are going to color him with an E33 as well. And to do that, we're just going to go around his little eyes. And I realized that it's Valentine's Day. Oh, yeah, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. But Valentine's Day also means that St. Patrick's Day is the next holiday, right? Woo! Love St. Patrick's Day. It's the only day that you can run around. I'm shading just a little bit. You can run around Dress in green, drink a lot of beer, act like a fool, and it's almost expected. Almost. All right, so I'm just doing a little shading with the same color. Okay, now if you want to take the shading to a next level, you can grab an E35. Okay, and just add a little bit more around the edges. And under his ears, maybe under his chin. Definitely back in there. Okay, and I'm going to come back with my original E33 and just blend this in a little bit. Maybe add a little bit more color to his ear there. Okay. And there we have it. Oh, I'm sorry, we needed a black as well for his little nose. A piece of marker on there. Oh, no, 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 no. Ah, got it. Okay. And I'm going to finally add, you know that when I do these, I love to use B00 on the eyes, just on one side, just to make them look a little brighter and happier. So now the only thing that we've got left to do, folks, is to glue his hat on. So I'm going to put a little bit on the bottom. Okay, now you're going to notice that this is going to be way too big. Looks kind of silly, huh? If you watch the make and take from the last time, you know exactly what we're going to do, right? So we are going to just glue this down. We might take a little off the bottom. We're just going to hem it up with scissors. And all I do is just cut a little trim just like that. Just trims it up. We're going to put it on him just like this. Okay. Oops, I pulled his hat off. All right, now let's see. We want his tail sticking out the back. So we're going to start at this line right here. And we are just going to cut it off. Make sure you don't cut off his tail. Okay. And we're going to start right here with this line. Work your way down. And now you have a kilt that fits a dog. And that's how these dress-up sets can fit the other animals that Riley has in his line as his little buddies. So we're going to take some more foam tape. I'm going to pop him up real quick. Do a little on his body. Okay. And I'm just going to set him right there. Now, is that an adorable card or what? So cute. How many of you guys have friends that would love to get a little card like this? All right, if you want, you can take some little green enamel dots. I do every once in a while. And I just throw them on. Just for effects. Just gives it a little bit of decoration. If you do some on the top, just come down and throw a couple more just down on the bottom to kind of even it out. And there you have it. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, 20% off all Dress Up Riley on our website now for a week. Have a great day.